How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go and do it's like the second part of these missions to unlock the garage fully on Flatlands. So this one's called Fix My Ride, and in the end I decided to take the Twinsteer because, as you can see in the background, I got the Fem truck that I took yesterday for the Pimp My Ride contract. I just kind of wanted to see, prove to myself, whatever. But the Twinsteer is just still a lot better than the Fem truck. That does have a 4-slot sideboard and it can have trailers and that, but it's so slow. To be honest, if I had time tonight, it kind of crossed my mind. I can still do it in a future video. It didn't have to be this mission. I don't even know, but on like when I'm editing it now, I might be able to put two videos side by side if that makes sense. And if I can, I could probably do like a run with the Twinsteer and the Fem truck on the same mission and just kind of show how much quicker this Twinsteer will get it done. So yeah, it was a good excuse to take this thing out. Obviously got a goddamn horse on me, just in case. Now this thing it's tippier, but I'd also say, strictly speaking, if it was going as slow as the Fem truck usually does, particularly in terrain like this, then I don't think it'd tip anyway. Like the Twinsteer is definitely like inherently a bit of a tippy truck, but part of that is its speed. But yeah, I've got the high range gearbox in, which is nice that this vehicle has it. And yeah, it's got, well, I suppose the Fem truck's a 6-wheeler, but I was more thinking in terms of like the having the cargo capacity kind of on board the truck instead of having to use a trailer, which does kind of come in handy in this phase in particular, because I've got one trailer store at the minute. I've still got one, I think, like when I do some missions I'll unlock on this map. But yeah, it saves like the hassle of trailers until I get all the stores unlocked and all the rest of it. And even driving along here, I'm going all the way in high gear, and I'm feathering the throttle, which again I like to do just as it's more, I don't know, feels a bit more like immersive whilst you're driving instead of just purely squeezing the throttle and just kind of waiting to slowly crawl towards the horizon in the distance. I collect a few missions on my way past. I assume I'm going to do something like that trailer later on, which maybe it might be a mission worth doing early on if you get to keep the trailer, because then, yeah, you've actually got one. Here's an example. Like, I knew full well now that I could drop it down into auto and drive out here, but for one, it's let me stay in high gear, and I was just curious at this point. Anytime you see the mud spraying up like it is, that's the game's way of telling you, like, get out of high gear basically, because the game's just the way it sort of works is going to punish you more in high gear. It's going to wheel spin. But yeah, it let me stay in high gear, so I was slowly turning the wheels and all the rest of it, trying to slowly creep forward, and yeah, eventually got onto like a bit of better land. But more importantly, what I wanted to see is once I got more grip, some of the trucks, that's when they'll suddenly stall in high gear. It's sort of alright when they're wheel spinning, it's when they try to stop wheel spinning that it can bite you. But yeah, this thing actually had like enough power to it to fire it back up to sort of the high gear cruising speed. And yeah, again, I'm pretty certain the entire way I was in high gear. I think on the way I didn't even drop it into auto at any point. Obviously, yeah, just using like feathering the throttle, so I'm not necessarily always going like completely flat out. And as you can see, I mean, the Twinsteer is not like majorly tippy. Well, certainly, like back in the day, the ANK was an absolute whopper for tipping. Yeah, in my ANK review video, like that thing tipped every 2 seconds. They have fixed that since then. There is some others that, well, I've not driven like I remember the Royal BM17 thing. That was fairly tippy for what it was back in the day. Yeah, like I said, I've certainly rolled this plenty of times, but trying to be a little bit delicate with it, and it's going pretty well. But yeah, just I don't even know how far back this is. It's about now where it kind of occurred to me, like, oh, I wonder if I could sort of lay videos side by side. I imagine if I was in the Fem truck, I'd be way back. I'm going to end up getting there probably in, like, I suppose, given that there's like probably a minute at the beginning of the video just showing you the direction I'm going to go and all the rest of it. Yeah, probably took like 5 or 6 minutes to get here. I'd imagine it'd be, yeah, probably easily 10, maybe getting on for 15 with the Fem truck, particularly like when you're going along that boggy section, which there's a fair amount of it as I'm driving here. That's the kind of place where, one, the Fem truck goes slow, or you'll at least have to go into the low range diffs on, and then you are automatically going slow. Or yeah, if you got enough speed, it'll probably try and jar the articulated steering left and right. I was thinking earlier as well, the fact that in this game, unless I'm wrong, I don't think there's any articulated vehicle that has a high range gearbox, which probably kind of insinuates that they are aware their articulation mechanics are weak to the point that, yeah, it'd be a bit of an interesting one driving in as fast as you can in like a high range gearbox with the articulation where it wrenches it left and right. But that kind of shows they must know that there is inherently a bit of an issue, because if they're not even making a vehicle that can have that combination. Yeah, so once we're here, down to the metal rolls factory to get, yeah, 4 lots of metal beams for this one. Sorry, metal rolls again. In the live stream I got it mixed up. I ended up taking, was it 3 or 4 metal beams to a location. I was only supposed to take 2. As it worked out, there was actually the next mission. I think I was able to, I needed 2 metal beams anyway, but that was only like, that was luck. It was certainly not planned. And yeah, with the loaf, so I reversed him off the back. I reversed him onto the loading deck. Realised the drop down is a little bit on the high side, so I thought I'll leave the loaf's chin on the back of the Twinsteer. It can fit the 4 metal beams on, and then I just need to winch the loaf up. So I did a winch from the back of the loaf to, I can't, it might have been the front of the Twinsteer or maybe the back, I can't remember. Just to like, yeah, it pulls the back kind of down and forces your nose to go up, which bumps me far enough up the trailer. And then jump in the Twinsteer, do a winch from the front of the Twinsteer to me loaf, and reel him in. He's on. Wow. I got him to this point, and then, oh no, sad Titanic music, which I'd like to add, but they'll probably copyright strike me. Yeah, so I thought, right, well, what do we do now? Quit and reload is the answer. Just like that, he's back on. Yeah, I ended up, like, I was pulling him forward and he kept like jumping over the metal rolls, so I ended up working out that it would be better to pull him backwards, because like the rear wheels that are on the metal rolls won't steer like the front ones would, and this is a lot more tricky than it looks. It's a pain in the arse trying to balance on metal rolls. They're one of the most awkward. They somehow simultaneously have like a squarish hitbox, but then when you try and roll up them, to get to stop in the middle of the metal rolls is a beast. But as usual, the loaf's goddamn professional, so his wheelbase naturally falls in line with the metal rolls. So yeah, I've got him packed on there. And then now for the route back, I've took a slightly different route just to save sort of doubling back on myself. And yeah, in theory, should be tippier now because I've got the cargo on, but the loaf's also sitting pretty high, although I have said before, he is weightless unless he decides he needs to have the weight included. So yeah, we'll see. When I drove here, I basically come flying out of like that dirt road that you can see, but yeah, I'm now veering off to the right, kind of cut through a warehouse. And yeah, by now though, I'd probably be surprised if I was like halfway with the fem truck. And again, there is situations where it'll at least hold its own, I reckon. But yeah, in the scheme of things, there's certainly, like I say, it's not replacing any of the top vehicles or anything. It's the 4-slot cargo bed. It's a bit like, I suppose it's like a vehicle version of the ramped flatbed. The ramped flatbed drives me mad, and I hate it, but it can carry 4 lots of cargo, and I can have a sideboard and all the rest of it, which means I can carry 6. Yeah, which works out pretty nicely, but again, it drives me insane. And yeah, the fact that the fem truck has got 4, it does help, and that it can have a trailer. That's the nice thing. At some point, when there's probably one of the bigger cargo missions and I've got enough time and all the rest of it, I'll do like a road train mission with 2 fem trucks or something, so I can actually have like that truck, the trailer, and truck and trailer, and then do, yeah, 16 lots of cargo. See, even there I was in high gear, and it was close. Oh, well, I think I was in auto going through, but when I got out the other side, I stuck it in high gear pretty early, and it was thinking about kind of dropping down the power and kicking me out, but stayed in there, and it, yeah, it was pretty good. That's what she said. Yeah, this wear out, I don't know what happened there. Like, Japanese tsunamis hit it or something going on. Just sending the loaf to probably tidy it up at some point. You know, what the hell is, like, for a start, my frame rate just took a nosedive at this point, so the controller inputs I'm applying are not really fully being transferred over to the game. It's only hearing like 50% of the steering input I was doing then. Yeah, so it steered really slow around that corner, but whatever I hit, like a little mouse house, something, yeah, something small, but it bumped me kind of up. I tried to ramp up the, funnily enough, it reminds me a little bit like the scrapyard. The thing I didn't like about the scrapyard on factory grounds, mainly, was that the hitboxes on it were terrible. I've still, to this day, I'm pretty certain it's got to be, unless the game's stolen it, because I certainly didn't rescue it. I've still got a truck stuck on the scrapyard where I think it might have been the legs of the crane or something have just hooked in, and that's it. I'm stuck there. I was winching it, like, with another truck and all, like, trying to pull it forwards, pull it backwards, all sorts, and then, yeah, I think just out of principle, I was like, well, I'm leaving it there, because that's what it gets now. Now it belongs to the scrapyard. Yeah, got here and I thought, oh, the power's actually dying off a little bit, but turns out I was just running out of fuel. And this was the only bit really where, again, I think it's the way they kind of code the game a bit, but it wouldn't let me jump out of first gear for a little while in the auto gearbox. I went up to high. It didn't say stalling, but I didn't wind up in the speeds. I knew it was about to. Yeah, once we kind of got a little bit of downhill going though, in the high gear, and we're away. So it's on like high-speed corners like that, especially if there's a bit of like camber on the corner where it sort of falls off to the outside. That's when you might take. You see, like that corner more had like camber on the inside and fly around it like a rallying Twinsteer. Especially when we got the Lo4f on board. He's got the best view. I think you can see further ahead down the road. Shouting steering instructions to the Twinsteer works out pretty nicely. I did have to kind of straighten up steering a bit there. I think I hit a rock or something. I was like, that was close. Don't want to fuck it up now because I ain't got a crane on me either. So if I roll, for one, I'll have to. Well, I mean, let's be honest. I'll probably quit and reload. Do you know what? I probably wouldn't. I don't know. It depends. Basically, if I did tip, I suppose it depends how near I am to the garage, but I'd either have to bring a crane out, or a vehicle with a crane, and reload it all, or if I tipped, the Twinsteer probably wouldn't start. The Lo4f most likely would, because he's a goddamn professional. I'd have to rescue the Twinsteer and then drive back to the metal roll yard, get some more, and attempt number 2. But yeah, things went alright. We're back at the yard now, and again, I'd imagine, yeah, especially 12.5 minutes, I'd probably, if that, just be getting to the yard where I got the metal rolls from if I was in that FEM truck. Plus the steering here, even though the Twinsteer certainly doesn't have like a great turning circle, I understeered quite a lot going around there for some reason in yesterday's video with the FEM truck. Kind of just steered wide and smashed into the barriers. Yeah, over this square in the corner you can see behind me the FEM truck and the HX520 that I used yesterday. 4 metal rolls and it builds this. The fact that this gives me trailer store vibes, this building, the fact that they haven't made it as a trailer store is a bit of a crime. It says like repairs and all that. It's basically now your garage is like a fully functioning garage. When you recover vehicles, it'll automatically like repair and refuel them. Yes, that's it really. I've made the garage like sort of work properly. You can see there, yeah, refuel and repair. About $5 grand for the mission, but again, it was more important to get that done. So yeah, that's the garage in Flatlands finally all fully done. Yeah, that's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf because he's a whopper, and I'll be back soon.